Are you a health practitioner who is wanting to start an online wellness or coaching business? If so, this video is for you. So I have a background of being a chiropractor and a functional medicine practitioner before bringing my business online to start doing really, I would say, like health coaching or wellness consulting, whatever you want to call it. And then now doing business coaching, it's been a transition. But I've had to go through this transition myself and figure out really the steps to make this happen. And I'm working with more and more health practitioners who are wanting to start an online business. And really the world is headed in this direction. And it's an amazing time to get on this train if this is something that you're wanting to do. And a lot of health practitioners are wanting to do this because they're wanting to practice what they're passionate about. They're wanting to spend more time with their patients. They're wanting to do a more holistic approach. They want more freedom and flexibility, be able to make the money they want to be making, being able to set their own hours and be there for their kids. And I've worked with all different health practitioners. I've worked with PAs and MDs and NPs and OTs and physical therapists, dentists, and a lot of nurses who are wanting to make a transition. So it doesn't really matter. Acupuncturists, I've obviously chiropractors, that's my background, massage therapists. So no matter where you're coming as far as your background, there's a lot of opportunity to start an online wellness business. And I want to talk about that in this video. And I want to talk about the common questions that I get asked by health practitioners who are wanting to make this transition, so that you have a better idea of what to expect and can hopefully get some of those questions answered that may be holding you back from making this leap. And I made the leap about 8 years ago to bring my business online. It has been one of the best things I have ever done. And it's why I am so passionate about helping other health practitioners specifically, really make that same transition if it's something that they're feeling called to do. Okay. And some of the big things that I see hold health practitioners back from making this leap is questions around like legalities, wondering, can I really make the income I want to be making? Am I going to be able to replace my income? Especially if you're making, 6 figures and beyond in your current practice. How to do online marketing. I know nothing about online marketing. I know nothing about having a business. A lot of those like questions and hesitations. And so I'm going to go through that in today's video. So the first thing I want to cover is the legalities of starting an online business if you are a health practitioner at this point. And what does that look like? And so I want to start by saying I'm not an attorney, so I can't give official legal advice. But what most of the practitioners that I work with do is they are working as a coach or a mentor. They're not working under their medical license, which means that you don't have the same regulations or you don't have the same restrictions that you would when you're working under your license. And so you just have to be very clear about that, make sure everyone knows, have everyone sign a contract that, yes, I may have a medical background, but I'm not your medical practitioner. And you refer out for anything that someone would need to see a medical practitioner for, and you just take the role as coach or mentor. So that's one of the big questions I get asked. And so I wanted to just talk about that straight away, so that if that's something you're wondering about, now you know. Okay. The other thing is, if you are a health practitioner, you do not need a health coaching certification, a nurse coaching certification, any of those things in order to start an online wellness business. It's not necessary, and there's no regulations in place as far as you need a certain coaching certification to be a coach. No one really legally recognizes that, except for no one legally recognizes it. The only one that actually recognizes that certification is the company who gave it to you. And so for most health practitioners, you have more than enough years of knowledge to be able to create an amazing online program that you can offer people. And so you do not need to go and get a certification, and you've been working with people and most likely coaching your patients for years. So if you're working with people in that capacity, you know what I'm talking about. But you don't need some sort of online certification. Only if you feel like you really don't know enough to help people with some sort of online business. But most health practitioners feel like that, even though they've been doing it for a long time. And that's part of what we do, is just getting clear on what can you offer. But just know that there's no certification required. Okay. So the next thing I want to talk about is that when it comes to like making this transition, I think it's really important to think about your vision for your life, like your dream life. Like, what do you want your life to be looking like? And is what you're doing now and how you're practicing does it fit into that vision that you have for yourself? And for a lot of health practitioners, it doesn't. Like, we go to school and we think it's going to look a certain way, and we're going to feel a certain way, and we're going to have certain freedoms and all this fulfillment. And the reality of it is a lot different than that. And for me, when I made that transition of bringing my business online, there was a number of things I just wasn't practicing in the way I wanted to. And truthfully, like having a brick and mortar practice where I was having to be in one spot, having to go into an office, it just didn't feel right to me. I wanted more freedom and flexibility. I wanted to be able to work from home. I didn't want to be stuck to like office hours. I wanted to be able to travel, to move. That freedom and that flexibility was really important to me. So when I look at wanting to have that lifestyle, and if I look backwards, then I'm like, okay, how can my career and what I'm doing fit into that? Like having a brick and mortar practice, or especially being an employee of someone else, like just does not fit into my vision of what I want for my life. And so that was a big thing that made me want to make that switch to having an online business. And so I would check in with yourself on that. Like, what is my vision for my life? Like, what is ideal? If I could pick it, what does that look like for me? And I think that really helps as far as like, okay, is having an online wellness business something that's going to move me in that direction? Okay. So the next thing is being okay with changing your mind. So for a lot of health practitioners, we spend a lot of time going to school, a lot of energy, like blood, sweat, and tears going into your training and going into, clinic, and the hours that you've put in learning everything. And then of course the financial investment that has gone along with that. Like, I know for myself, I spent well over $200,000 on my education becoming a chiropractor. And that doesn't even include undergrad, right? And so that's a lot. And so when it comes to changing your mind and being like, okay, maybe I want to do something different, for a lot of health practitioners, there's a lot of guilt and shame around that. And they're like, oh my gosh, I can't change my mind. I made this decision. I did all this training. I put all this money towards this. And I want to give you permission to change your mind. Okay. I have another video I did where I talk about this, and about like fulfilling your purpose and following that path. And I'll link it to this because I talk more about that. But be okay with changing your mind, because there's no way to know what things are really going to look like and what's the right fit for you until after you go and do it. And it's much better to change your mind and go in the direction that you want to go, and that's going to help you live the life you want to be living, than to just keep doing something that isn't right for you because you made some decision back before you knew what it was going to be like, and just tell yourself, I have to keep doing this even though it's not feeling right, it's not making me happy, it's not letting me live the lifestyle I want. Okay, there's no shame in changing your mind. I think that it takes bravery to do it, and you will not regret it. That's what I say. If it's the right fit for you, you will not regret it. You will regret staying with something that is not the right fit for you, as opposed to going after something that is. Okay. So the next thing that I want to talk about is a lot of health practitioners are like, oh my gosh, what do I have to offer? And really doubting that they have something good to offer, or not knowing how to translate what they've been doing as a health practitioner to something that will be an online wellness business. And what I want to let you know is that you have way more expertise than you are giving yourself credit for, especially if you've been practicing for a while. A lot of times we don't give ourselves nearly enough credit, and we always think, I need to know more. I don't know enough. And not true. I work with tons of health practitioners, and we find really something amazing that you can translate into an online business online program. Okay. And we can bring in your own personal experience working as a practitioner, the things that you like are your area of expertise, maybe bringing in, for a lot of us, bringing in like our own personal story and our experiences. But when we look at all of that, we can come up with something really amazing that you can offer. And even if you're doing something that is more hands-on, like PT, OT, chiropractor, obviously in my background, like there's still things that you can offer online. And we just look at like, how do you translate that to an amazing online program? Okay. So the next piece is just really having that confidence and that belief in yourself, because we never know exactly how something is going to work out until we take that leap to do it. And so for a lot of people, we want some sort of guarantee. We want to know like exactly what it's going to look like. And it's just not possible when you're starting a business. And so you have to have that confidence and that belief in yourself to go after that and to make it happen. And I say to like really know that vision you have for your life, and to tell yourself, I deserve to go after that vision. I deserve to be living that vision, as opposed to just dreaming about that vision, but telling myself that I can't have it. Okay. And knowing that when it comes to success and creating a successful online business, there aren't special unicorns that are making it happen. They don't have special skills. It's a matter of making the decision to make it happen and then following through with the actions to put it in place and getting the support you need to do that. Okay. So I think that's a really important piece as well. And then the last piece I want to talk about is criticism, because when you have been doing something, like I said, you've gone to school, you've put this money towards this, you put all this training towards becoming a health practitioner, most likely you might get some criticism from people in your life about your decision to start an online business or to go in a different direction. And this is what I want to say. Nobody knows what you're supposed to be doing with your life. Nobody knows the best career move for you except for you. Okay. So don't let other people in your life that do not know what is best for you, that includes your partner, your parents, your friends, your siblings, like I don't care who they are. Nobody knows what's best for you except for you. So trust yourself, trust what you want, and allow yourself to go in that direction. Okay. Living a life where other people are making your decisions and you let other people make your decisions is how to live a life of regret. All right. And so I just want to say, like, I think that's a big thing that comes up for health practitioners when they're thinking about making that switch. Like, they want everyone to be their cheerleader and to be on board and be like, this is an amazing idea. And just know that that's probably not going to be the case, but you can do it anyways. And then once you do it and people see how amazing it is, they're going to be like, oh my gosh, so glad you did that. I wish I had done something similar. So you have to have your own back. Okay. So I'd love to hear from you if you are a health practitioner, you're someone who has been thinking about making this leap, but you're feeling, unsure. Is there anything that I didn't cover as far as questions you have? Let me know in the comments below and I would be happy to answer them. And if you want to dive a bit deeper into the steps of really starting and scaling an online business, really being able to scale to 6 figures so that you're able to replace that income that you have coming in through your current practice, through whatever it is that you're currently doing, I have a training that walks you through that. So I will link it right below this. Make sure you check it out. I know you're gonna find it like super helpful because there's lots of ways that you can really scale your business quite effectively and efficiently. And I dive into that in this training, especially if you're someone who's busy, you don't have a lot of time. For a lot of health practitioners, you're in the spot. So I will link that below. If you found this video helpful, make sure you give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel. I do new videos every week, and I dive into all sorts of topics that you need to know about starting an online wellness or coaching business. So I want to thank you so much for joining me in this week's video, and I will see you next week.